Welcome everyone, Greg here with Wavebird Industries to show the firmware update process on the Wave Phoenix. For those who don't know what the Wave Phoenix is, this is a replacement receiver for the Wavebird controller line. So the way that we do a firmware update on this is we have to put the device into bootloader mode, and there's two ways of achieving that. One of them is just to hold the button and insert into the console. And once you've done that, it should be in bootloader mode and you can start the process. The other way is to just put and hold the button until the blinking stops, and then it's in bootloader mode. Either way is fine. If you do accidentally flash the wrong firmware, you should be able to just do the first step there where you hold the button, push the receiver in, and then it is in bootloader mode and you can flash the correct firmware file in case the wrong one gets selected. So we're going to show where to get the files and how to do the firmware update. In my case, I'm using a Windows laptop running Chrome as the browser that's going to do the install. So with this, you need a browser that supports a Bluetooth pairing mode. So not all browsers support it. Firefox doesn't. Edge supports it. And then on other operating systems, Chrome is always going to be the most likely to support it with the exception of iOS. On iOS, you should be able to use the Bluefi browser, which is available in the App Store for free. And you can use that browser to do the same process. So first, I'm going to show you where you can find the firmware. So on the GitHub, if you look over on this right-hand pane, there is an option that says releases. And if you look there, you can see the most recent firmware. It says latest, just click on that. It brings up the firmware update page. Now for a Bluetooth over-the-air firmware update, you're going to need the file that ends in GBL, but specifically we need the one that is the receiver and version 092-RFBM-BG22C3.GBL. For me, the easiest way to identify the one that I need is it should be C3.GBL. And then once you click that, it's going to download it. In my case, I've downloaded it a few times, so I have a bunch of the same firmware on here because I've been trying to shoot this video. But once you have that downloaded, then you can go to the main portion of the page, and we go to hardware, mini receiver, and we can scroll down in here to find the firmware update page itself. And I believe that is under usage, and you're going to go upgrading firmware, and here you go, Wave Phoenix web app. Click on that. It brings up the web app. Now, I've already got my device in bootloader mode, so when I hit that, you don't see it on screen, but there's a little pair window that pops up, and it's going to have Wave Phoenix in the things that it found, and you just want to select that and hit pair. It takes a moment to connect to the device, and mine tells me that the current firmware is 092, so I don't need to update, but we're going to show the process. So here we go. We hit choose our firmware file. It's going to bring up a pop-up, and you're going to load that file that you had loaded before, or that you had downloaded before from the GitHub. And then it says firmware file ready, flash firmware. Then you just click flash firmware, and then it's going to take a little while to update. I think it's about 2-3 minutes. So I'm going to pause the video here and then pick up after it's done with the actual update process, and then finish the video off and any other things that I think of that I need to tell you. All right, and we're back, and it's just about to finish up. Once the firmware gets completely done, there's just an option to do the reboot. And when you click that, the Wave Phoenix adapter will now be in pair mode. If you had a controller synced to it before, it might still be synced. which in my case it is. So you should be good to go, or you might need to repair, and pairing is just easy. Push the button, hold X and Y on the controller that you want it to pair to, and you're good to go. And now it will survive reboots in the event that you have a console that's affected by the previous bug, which wouldn't allow it to resync after the console was rebooted, and now it works perfectly as expected. All right. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day.